All right. Hello, hello, and welcome, everyone. So happy to have you here with me today. Welcome to those of you that are joining us live, as well as those of you that are going to join us on the replay. So, I have a really great show in store for you today. I'm super excited. I invited my friend and colleague, Andrea, to join us today. We are, and gosh, how long have we known each other? Like, a long time, right?
Yeah.
So we met way back, like years ago, at a nutrition entrepreneurs meeting. So instantly hit it off, had a lot in common. So I wanted to invite her to join us today because we are going to have a conversation about how to help your clients and your practice thrive, expanding your skill set and competency with mindful eating. And those of you that are familiar with my work know that this is an area that I'm very passionate about. It's actually an area that I specialized in back in the day when I had my own private practice in nutrition. So really super psyched to have Andrea here with me. So I think to kick things off, I'm going to go ahead. You know what? Let's do it this way. Andrea, why don't you go ahead and tell everyone a little bit about yourself instead of having me read your bio? I think that would be more interesting.
Okay. All right. And great to be here with you, Leslie, and missing you at those conferences.
I know.
Live.
Someday we'll be back in person again, and I can't
Yes.
wait.
Yes. Okay. Well, yeah. So I'm just gonna rewind a little bit when I tell my story a little bit. I like to go back to my interests as just around high school and entering college at that time, because my interests and what I've done with my career has stayed really consistent. And I've just had a really amazing and rewarding career. And I love what I do. So that's the first thing that I want to say as a way of helping people and really transforming lives. So early on, I was very interested in food as medicine and food as healing and wellness. And I also began to meditate in high school. And so that's followed through with me my whole life. So, and then I discovered mindfulness meditation in my 20s, so a while ago. So mind, body, health, nutrition, transformation, helping people change their lives and come back into balance has been my passion. So the path that I followed, I have this amazing, and I know people of all ages and at all stages of career are listening to this. So that's why I like to touch upon the beginning in my career. If some of you are actually contemplating majors at this time. And Leslie and I were just talking about our kids that are at that stage in life, which is so exciting. So I chose a degree. It was human biology at Stanford that looked at the whole person. And I focused on healthy lifestyles and the whole science of biopsychosocial health. Nowadays, we have a great term, integrative health, right? And mindfulness is right up there with part of really offering the foundation for true transformation and lasting change in relationship to eating and everything, in our whole lives. So I went and I got my MPH, doesn't stand for mindful, my master's in public health, nutrition, and I focused a lot on health education as well and training. I was very interested in training even back then. And had an amazing job or different renditions for many years at Kaiser Permanente, which is, many of you have heard of it, a major health maintenance organization in the country, really committed to prevention and health education. And so I helped usher in and pioneer the mind body health programs in the 1990s, including the mindfulness-based stress reduction program. It's very instrumental in bringing that in and introducing it to the region, doing training on how to successfully offer mindfulness in healthcare. And so my passion, not only in working one-on-one with people, but training others, health professionals, in how to bring transformation to their clients has pretty much been a thread through my whole training. And then 2009, I was invited to apply for a research position teaching and consulting on a mindful eating study at UCSF, at the integrative center there. It's changed its name a couple of times. I think it's Osher Complementary and Integrative Medicine Center, something like that. Not exactly.
Yeah.
And so I was still at Kaiser, and it just happened to be 1 block away, so it worked. So I would go there after work and teach, help develop a curriculum, which was based on Mbe, which is a very well-studied and researched NIH really funded program which stands for Mindfulness-Based Eating Training, Mindfulness-Based Awareness Eating Training. So it's a great program. And we adapted it some. It's gone through different renditions, always being updated and made even better. And that was a pivotal moment for me because I was able to bring my passion for nutrition and healthy lifestyles and wellness and mindfulness and that mind-body connection and bringing these together in this great program that has had a lot of research behind it now, even more, in helping people develop a healthy relationship to food, to eating, to body, to self, to their lives, and learning these foundational skills of mindfulness. So I was coordinating and overseeing mind-body health programs at Kaiser. That time, just developing different programs and teaching. And I knew that this was an area that I really wanted to focus on for that whole next set of my next chapter, my career, this program, and working with my clients. I had a private practice at the time. So I began to bring this approach as well. And then one thing led to the next. And I was invited to do teacher training in Mbe Eat around 2010. And that's just been an amazing chapter of my career, which continues. We started out at retreat centers all over the country and some internationally. And then I developed this online program about 11 years now. And what's so awesome now, the whole world, right, has discovered the benefits of online. We miss live for sure, but online training. Yeah, I started with Zoom way back then.
So I'm curious, for those people in our audience that maybe are contemplating moving into mindful eating in their practice, but aren't completely sure. Can you share with us a little bit about, what is mindful eating and who benefits, right? Like how do we integrate it? Like, what are the benefits to the client? Because we all know, people they're obsessed with weight, right? So I guess that's a whole nother topic in terms of positioning, but like in terms of benefits, what would you say to that? Like, how does that really benefit the population?
Yes. Yeah. So many benefits. It actually offers how this program, mindful eating, its approach is giving people skills, different perspective, and transformation from the inside out with mindfulness. And we can talk about that too, for sure, because that's so foundational. But a way to get off that yo-yo. You mentioned weight, so it's really important. Get off that yo-yo pattern of dieting, right? Of losing weight, gaining weight, being focused on that as a goal in one's life to health and well-being and happiness. But this is a way to transform, and I really use that word, your relationship, our client's relationship. And I'll say most all of us that get trained in it, because even if we think we don't have struggles with food, it's very subtle and insidious in our culture. That there's a certain level of guilt, even shame, and feeling bad sometimes about food choices or amounts. And so this practice of mindful eating offers tools, first of all, to really learn how to tune in to what we really need. So it's not just, right? So many of us are used to, here's the diet, or here's the paper, here's the guidelines, now follow that.
Right.
And, yeah.
That's how we were trained, right? Like,
right.
I'm the expert, so let me tell you what to do. Here's your, yeah, exactly. And we know how that works out, right?
Right.
Well.
So it's here, right? It's really whether you're a client or the professional that's trained to offer this and maybe just have a few sessions and do a follow-up. There's no real power, no transformation happening or tools to really help people approach food differently, learn to enjoy food, and make choices that work for them for the long term, right? That are sustainable.
Right.
So mindful eating, the model that we use, Mbe Eat, is inner and outer wisdom. So outer wisdom is that wise relationship to the nutrition knowledge that's out there, finding what works for our bodies, given our taste, preferences, genetics, health issues, metabolism, what works for us to help us be in balance. And then in using that evidence-based knowledge that's out there, and in some cases ancient wisdom, which is getting more evidence and research behind it. And then the tools of tuning in, right? We have a whole training. We can talk about, let's tune, how hungry are you? How full are you? But to actually be trained, to really tune in, right? Because so many of us have been trained to not listen as kids. Finish everything on your plate, or this is what you need to eat, or here's that paper with the amount. Right. But tuning in to the subtle levels of hunger and fullness, and they're actually separate. They're related, very much related, but tuning into different kinds of satiety. There's a taste satiety. There's actual physical fullness. There's body satiety. So particularly for people, Leslie, that are really dysregulated in what we call disordered eating.
Right.
Really fine-tuning and learning this, it's a whole new inner vocabulary, helps people come to a balance and be able to make choices that really work with their body. So we call, really, not just in mindful eating, but in mindfulness, we call it training, because we're relearning a whole new way of being and new skills. So it takes time. So mindful eating is not a quick fix.
Right.
It's not a one-time session or workshop or
not a diet.
It's not a diet, not reading a book.
I have seen some people try to turn it into a diet. It's not a diet, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. It's bringing really, we can bring mindfulness to any part of our lives for increased awareness and really freedom. It helps us to learn to what our triggers are and to create that space through mindfulness, coming into that mindful pause in the moment when we're not caught up in our triggers, like, oh, there's cupcake, or I'm stressed, I'm going to go for that food. So to create that space and make a new response and have a new response, be able to do that. But so there's a freedom that comes, but with tools, with ways to really tune in. What is it that I'm truly hungry for? What is it that I really need? And also with guidelines, right? You said not a diet, but healthy eating, right? What works for us? and the amount. So we absolutely can have a healthy relationship to guidelines and research, but it's very individual.
Right. So I'm curious, who are you working with mostly these days in this model? Are you working with the public, teaching them mindful eating, like in a private practice type of format, or are you really transitioning more to training professionals?
Yeah. So over the years, I'm moving more and more to just professionals, because
Okay.
there's people are really hungry for this, and it really just changes our whole practice. And also with my public health model, Leslie, I think, public health is about impacting people on a big scale, right? And populations and creating programs. So that kind of, it goes along with that initial desire, right? To really make a difference in a big way.
Yeah. I
But
mean, basically you train professionals. So, I guess indirectly, depending on how you look at it, you're able to touch more lives, right?
yeah, exactly.
Hopefully more people are impacted through your work, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very exciting. People are coming from all over the world to these trainings, and it's like waves, mindful eating coming to different parts of the world, different continents, different countries, and people need it so much. I still have, I would say, maybe 20% of my practice or 25% is private clients, because I also really believe in keeping current and fresh, and learning from my clients, as well as just being able to work with them. So I do continue to have a small practice.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the people that benefit the most, with this approach are those that are emotional, stress-related eaters, binge eating, can be people with bulimia, binging, overeating of any kind, and just wanting to get back in balance.
Mm-hmm. So the model then does work for eating disorder patients or clients.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not developed for people with anorexia.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks for clarifying. Yeah.
definitely. And that's really important. And we always clarify that. Um, Although down the line, we have had people that have recovered
Mm-hmm.
and find it really helpful to learn how to tune in and stay with that sense of, when we need a better word for control. So that just that sense of feeling balance, and that kind of that inner control, and not feeling like, yeah. So, but mostly for people with, binge eating disorder. It also could be bulimia, any level of, we have so many people that have been on that yo-yo dieting, restricting, not anorexia, but restricting, overeating. And so it's helping people get off that cycle. Yeah.
We actually have a question. If you can clarify, how can we have international clients?
Oh my goodness. Well,
You want to take that one on?
absolutely.
Okay.
Online.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for the professional trainings, we have people come from all over. So yeah, they're not physically coming. We do that as well, right? Not right now. We do offer trainings, and like we're working right now on a French training, and we have a Portuguese training. And so we're actually working on several of the countries, some of the major languages, so it can be really accessible. Zoom also has a simultaneous translator feature now. And so that's something that we're going to start using soon too, with the Mindful Eating Training Institute. As far as one-on-one clients,
Yeah, I think it has to do with licensure, if I'm reading this question correctly.
yes, with one-on-one clients, that you would need to. Most of my one-on-one are in the U.S., so you would just need to check into your guidelines for your profession around that, how it applies. One of the models that we work in, and I also, we'll talk about it a little later, but I've developed in the most recent years the Well-Nourished Coach Training Program based on the Well-Nourished approach, which is treating the whole person. And so eating doesn't occur in a vacuum, right? It's also in the context of our whole life and how nourished we are and resilient and balanced. So I work in a coaching model, which has different different guidelines than if you're working maybe in a solely dietetics model. So it's perhaps more applicable for international clients. So my graduates for the Mindful Eating program, which is called the Mindful Eating Mbe Eat and Living Professional Training, and you can find out about that on my website. But people graduate as Mbe Eat practitioners or qualified instructors. You can also fashion yourself as a coach. A lot of people do the Well-Nourished Coach training together with that because it's a perfect complement, because we really dive into the one-on-one skills of transformation, using the latest behavioral science. And so I find the coaching model is great because there's so many, besides our content expertise, right? In mindful eating, mindfulness, nutrition. I think you have a lot of dietitians, right, on the web, on the different Facebook groups. But the science of change, that's where the health coaching really makes a difference to our skill set. So I think you asked earlier, Leslie, just the benefits of this, and it completely transforms your practice because you have so much more to offer your clients for change. It's not just about eating habits, it's actually becoming happier, more resilient, more inner tools, more kindness. And with the Well-Nourished Coach model, moving into that, and I have a book that kind of summarizes that, Well-Nourished. So if you're interested, you can learn more about that. But nourishing the different parts of ourselves, which actually increases our resilience. And if emotional eating, stress-related eating is an issue, we have so many more coping skills. So one of the things that, in terms of international clients and local, or whatever country that you're in, as a world right now, we're all, of course, we know, facing unprecedented change. We've heard that term so many times, right? But not only with the pandemic, but also with climate change. There's a lot of stresses, a lot of uncertainty. Our daily lives have changed somewhat. We're working more towards normalcy. But finding ways to continue to live fulfilling lives, happy lives, being able to maintain equanimity despite the different outer changes. That is one of the amazing benefits of mindfulness. Mindful eating. Mindful eating without mindfulness, by the way, you can't separate them. So I want to make a really underline a point for everyone listening. Mindful eating, the foundation is learning mindfulness practice, mindfulness meditation. And without it, it's just another behavioral technique. So that's something really important to assess. If you want to learn mindful eating, when you're looking at a program, does it have mindfulness meditation and mindfulness training at its core? And so that's something that, that's near and dear to my heart, because I know the true transformation that comes from that. You can't separate it. Otherwise, it's cognitive, the changes.
Is that how you, I know, why don't you kind of give us an overview a little bit on how your program differs, right? Is that a big piece of it in terms of differentiating your approach versus, I don't know, maybe some other approaches that our audience might be familiar with? I mean, I've done other programs and I've done coach training. I've done all of that. And I can tell you, mindful meditation was not part of any of the training I did,
Yeah.
with the exception of yoga training, right? But
Yeah.
we're not talking about yoga training here. So
Yeah.
yeah. So what would you say? How's it different?
So, yeah, so it's really foundational. And it's foundational for our clients too. So there, our clients that are in this group program that you're working one-on-one, we are training them in basic mindfulness meditation practice.
Mm-hmm.
And that is foundational for them. So they are doing a practice every day to the best of their ability. And we need to be practitioners too, because we can't teach others unless we are doing it ourselves.
Right.
So this training, I have a 3-month online weekly training that is live. It's also recorded. So if you miss the live sessions, there's we call it our flex option, if you're not able to attend, because we have people from all over. So there's different time periods. And meditation, we offer mindfulness meditation as a foundational part of it, training. So you are learning wherever you're coming in. We have many people that already have practices that are now ready to learn how to teach meditation, or they're ready to learn how to deepen their practice. We also have people that are beginners or have had some experience with apps, which is common these days. So we offer the training, the weekly, learning how to set up a practice, learning the challenges of meditation for yourself, learning the benefits, learning how to answer the hard questions when people are learning this. And so our trainees they come out of the program being able to teach basic mindfulness meditation. So that is, we have a retreat as part of our program. Yeah. There is another program that has meditation, but other than that, it's only live. All the other programs that I'm aware of don't have that at its core.
Right. Right. Yeah, that does really seem like a huge area of differentiation for sure.
Because that's where we learn how to work with emotions as well, right? How to work with guilt and shame and frustration and stress with mindfulness. And there's nothing, and it does incorporate some cognitive approaches as well, but the base is mindfulness, learning to be kind. Kind is a huge part of this, kind to ourselves, and naturally increases kindness to others. Self-compassion, part of my training has a big component of self-compassion and self-acceptance in it as well. Kindness, not beating ourselves up, because I think some of our listeners will recognize that pattern, maybe in yourselves or your clients, where you might eat more than you wanted to, or your perfect idea of what you should have done, and then start beating yourself up. I've blown it. I shouldn't have done that. The stress around that, and then maybe an overeating cycle from that. I may as well eat the whole package, and then getting out of balance, feeling full. Then anyway, could go on and on, but it helps.
Really, who would have known all these like emotions involved in eating, right? That's what I think is just so fascinating about this whole area of work, because I mean, we come to the table, no pun intended, with some baggage, right? I would say many/most of us, and just learning how to deal with those emotions in a healthy way, that's sustainable and nourishes us is really what we're after. And I can speak the people, the clients that I work with, practitioners, this kind of training, like what I'm sensing is that you're helping professionals navigate some pretty definitely emotional terrain working with clients, right? And that can be challenging if you don't have the right training, right?
Yeah.
Because I hear that all the time. And then kind of knowing what your scope is, right? What your scope is versus, am I like moving into therapy here? Can you speak to that? Because that is
Absolutely.
another question that I get a lot, like starting to feel like therapy, and I'm not a therapist, right?
Right. Excellent question. So with strong foundational mindfulness training, you can work with thoughts and beliefs, emotions that come up around food. You're training them themselves and how to work mindfully, how to recognize. Mindfulness is awareness. It's taking us out of the realm of automaticity, and mindlessness, and the subconscious realm, the unconscious realm, learning to bring awareness to what we're bringing to the table and what's influencing our choices and our actions. So we can help guide our clients towards insight with the practice, to that insight, and then and bringing kindness where needed, and the different practices that help regulate emotions and just lower emotional reactivity. There's a lot of research on that with mindfulness, more balance, and then making those choices that are nourishing and supportive. So it's using mindfulness. We're not, and here's a distinction with therapy, we're not digging back into stories of childhood. We're certainly not working with trauma. Trauma could come up. So there is, like, we do address mindfulness-based or trauma-sensitive mindfulness, and when to refer to a therapist. Really important. There's a whole new field about that. A lot of people do have some trauma. So how do we work with that when we have signs of that coming up? And there's different ways to teach meditation too when people have a trauma background. So learning the different ways in are really important for people. So when to refer, everybody knows, everybody that graduates, it's very clear guidelines about when to refer to psychotherapists, what to look for, and the scope of mindfulness-based interventions. So this is really a training on including working with thoughts and beliefs, and to do with relationship to food. And sometimes there are thoughts and beliefs that go way back, but we're not doing therapy, but just bringing awareness to that. Just for example, a familiar one is the guilt that might come up, and the automatic habits from got to finish everything on my plate.
Right.
So bringing awareness to our parents, when we heard that. It's cross-cultural, by the way. There's a lot of history around that, going generations back. Well-meaning parents wanting to make sure their kids got enough food when there was more times of feast or famine and food insecurity. But how true is that these days? Anyway, that's a whole piece, right, about working with that belief, letting it go, and eating the right amount. And that can include learning to take smaller amounts to begin with, and visually, like with a plate, getting more attuned to what you really need, but also letting it be okay. If you're satisfied, where's the worst waste, right? If you take it in and you're done, your body's had enough, you're in balance. We have composting these days in a lot of places, and leftovers, so you don't have to, it just helps to address those thoughts of feelings of shame or guilt, right? There's all kinds of ways to work with that. So there's ways to work with the beliefs, both mindfully. We don't have to believe. Another really core point of mindfulness is, like, we don't have to believe all our thoughts, right? So many of them are exaggerated.
Exactly.
Negative. They get more that way when we're stressed. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. So I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about your program and, becoming a well-nourished coach, because I really think that this is a great option I mean, I've known you for a long time. I'm familiar with your work. I've seen your testimonials. I've interacted with your audience as well. And I really think that it fits a need out there in terms of giving practitioners the tools and the confidence that they need to be able to bring this to their respective clients. Can you tell us a little bit more of just about how the program is organized? Like, when does it start? Give us some of those details.
Yeah, sure. So the program, we have a new program beginning right in the beginning of October. So in a few weeks, and it's a 5-month program.
Okay.
We meet live twice a month for a real intensive. There are different modules. We have a pre-recorded module that goes really into depth into all the different components and health information, really health and wellness information, and the model. And then there's the practicum. So we meet, we learn. Actually, I'm going to pause because one thing, so well-nourished coach model, what's different about this? So this takes into account the whole person. And we look at 8 different aspects of ourselves that need nourishment to thrive, often neglected. And that includes, of course, our emotional, I call it bodies, our emotional body, our psychological body, our creative body, intellectual, spiritual, social, and let's see what else, the physical, of course, the physical body, and the worldly body, which is being in touch with our passion and our purpose in the world, and how are we manifesting that in our lives, because that can be a great source of frustration and stress if we're not. And it can be an incredible source of sense of well-being and meaning in our lives if we are. So we address the whole person with skills and tools, all evidence-based skills and tools, helping people. So we're, as a health coach, we are masters of facilitating behavior change, lasting sustainable change. We recognize that our coachees have inner wisdom. They have the answers inside of themselves. So it's a very respectful and inspiring way of working with people. And we bring skills and tools to teach them. We are needed to help them reach. Really, we work big in coaching. People set big goals for themselves. We call it their well-nourished vision or how they want to live in their lives. So our weekly or bi-monthly program works on the latest in the transformational skills of change. So we bring in neuroscience, positive psychology, motivational interviewing training. We provide all the materials that you need, the charting, the progress notes. Every session is mapped out. Everybody has, we have just great handouts and tool sheets for our clients to work with, worksheets, everything, more than anyone even needs, like this toolbox. I like to call it a jewel box. And there's lots of practice in our program. So that's another thing, Leslie, that everyone, and I have a lot of great testimonials, by the way. You can visit my website after this. We have video testimonials and more going on there. It changed everybody's lives. Like people, one of the reasons they love it so much, both for themselves and their clients, because it really is life-changing. And everybody's getting coached as you go through the program. Once you've learned all the fundamental skills and the model, you each have to do a full coaching program and receive one, with your colleagues. And so people leave the program feeling really confident and really excited to bring this to their clients. And the Mbe Mindful Eating Training Program really goes hand in glove with this. So they're best done back to back. You take the mindful eating, you get that really strong foundation in mindfulness, mindful eating and living, and all the skills and tools. And you learn how to teach a group, 12-week group with full scripts for everything, curriculum. You also learn some basics of how to bring this one-on-one. And then you take the Well-Nourished Coach training, which really gets into the nitty-gritty of the session and transformational change. Yeah.
Is this program, or are these programs, I'm thinking people probably have, our audience might be curious, is this something they can integrate into their one-on-one work as well as the group model?
Well, yes. So the first program, the Mindful Eating Training Program, the Mbe Training Program, we are teaching and training the core skills in the 12-week, 12-session group program. By the way, we have Q&As in our professional training and coaching, all kinds of things. But and then what I did early on, 11 years ago, I started to adapt this for one-on-one and develop a coaching program, specifically in mindful eating and living for private clients. So yes, we train you and the map, basically how you can work with your clients one-on-one in a 3-month program, bringing these skills for the first program. But so it's great. And so people are also bringing just whatever their skills of previous training and coaching to that. But the Well-Nourished Coach training, then for those that want to learn the skills of coaching, real transformational change, and not just to mindful eating living, but all of one person's life as needed, as they're wanting to bring in. They do self-assessment and you guide them and all that. It's very one-on-one oriented. Yes. Coaching skills.
Great.
Transformation. So you have the mindfulness foundation, the mindful eating, and all those tools and skills that you leave very full with that first program. And then those that want to do, and I see them hand in hand, because as I worked with my clients over the years, again, mindful eating isn't just in a vacuum, right? In our relationship to food, and we have our whole lives. And now more than ever, people are needing, in a sense, to reinvent and re-embrace their lives. And this is a great way that we can, as a guide, and nurture and handhold our clients through this.
I love that. I'm going to show here we go. Yeah, tell us a little bit about what, if our audience, if everyone goes to this link, mindfuleatingtraining.com, what will they get? What will they find?
Yes. So if you go, it's on our contact page. So you just go to contact, and you will get, there's a bunch of little places you can select for whatever you're interested in, information about our different programs. And there's a place to check 10 tips to mindful eating. So these are some of our core overview skills. And that's great. You can also, there's a place to sign up for a consultation, if you're informational session, if you'd like to learn more, and if this program's the right fit for you, how to sign up. And if you want to do both, we offer both together with an incredible discount, to do both consecutively. And there is another website, it's more oriented on about my book, but there you can there's other free gifts there. You can get the first chapter of my book, and you can get, I believe there's a recording and some book tools once you've read the book. And that one, I'll say it twice because we don't have it written, which is okay. It's yourwellnourishedlife.com. yourwellnourishedlife.com.
If I spelled that correctly, yep.
Yes, that's the second one.
Yeah,
right. Great. And we have a growing family of well-nourished coaches. It's really exciting, and mindful eating MBE practitioners and qualified teachers internationally. We'd love you to join us. It's it's just really amazing work and really rewarding that we can, it takes us out of, as dietitians, and we're trained more linearly with information. It takes us really in to the heart of the matter, into the heart, and treating the whole person. And occurs to me one last thing that you said, Leslie, about people feeling like, how do I deal with emotional terrain? Well, guess what? Mindfulness teaches us how to be present in a session, how to be present and balanced with our own emotions that arise, that get triggered by our clients. Where we can stay present, open-hearted, fully mindfully listening, and be the best counselors and coaches we can be, and guide our clients just to learn how to be present with the challenging and difficult stuff and navigate that, the thoughts and the feelings.
Instead of being freaked out over, oh my gosh, what am I going to say next? Right?
Yes.
So much more effective.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it is a skill. It's not like we're born knowing how to do this.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. Awesome. So, any final thoughts that you'd like to share?
Well, Leslie, first of all, it's been so great to be meeting with you this way. And it feels like we're just having a nice chat, even though I know this is going out to so many of you. And I'm just really excited and grateful to have been here on your Facebook Live and get to speak to so many of you. I know a lot of you listening are in the integrative and functional medicine field. And this is an area also really close to my heart, integrative medicine, functional nutrition medicine. And some of our best and most awesome students and graduates come from this background. They are a great match together. If I was a new dietitian, I'll say I'm still young. But always, but a new dietitian, I think these two backgrounds and trainings, mindful eating and living, MBE training, and integrative and functional nutrition are the best, hand in hand. You may not need to, you may be just interested more in focusing on the disordered eating and the integrative and functional nutrition training. You may not do that. I mean, it depends, but if you want to have a really great breath, I think those are great. So those students, you guys are awesome. And it's just a great skill set. You also can learn how to bring mindfulness to your medical nutrition clients. And it depends too, it's a doorway in. Some of them will be interested in going into a full program of learning mindful eating and living. Some of them you'll just be able to bring in some of these practices and tools. Yeah.
So good. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with our audience today. It was so helpful and really interesting as well. And guys, I would highly recommend that you go ahead and visit Andrea at mindfuleatingtraining.com. And I'll share the other site as well, yournourishedlife.com.
Your Well-Nourished Life.
Your Well-Nourished Life. Thank you. yourwellnourishedlife.com, and pick up some goodies there that can help you in your practice. And that is all we have for you today. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful weekend. I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now. Bye, Andrea.
Thanks, everybody. Bye, everyone. Hope to meet you, perhaps online.